How's it going?
It's going, it's busy, busy season, February, March, just beginning of the year. So it's good though.
Thank you so much for kicking it with me.
Oh, thank you for asking me. I was very humbled by the invitation.
Now, for those that may not know you, give us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Cassidy Edwards. I am a mom of 3 kids. Most of them are sneakerheads as well. I dabble in the sneaker and streetwear space. I am the managing editor at CNK Daily, which is a platform that serves as a voice for women in the sneaker and streetwear space. And I also left corporate America about 6 months ago to join my homies at TradeBlock, which is a sneaker trading, the #1 sneaker trading app on the market right now. So I do member experience and HR. And in my corporate world, I came from HR. So I was doing that for like 15 years.
Wow, sounds like you're a hustler.
Yes, by nature.
I'm liking it. And we had trying to set up a date to do this interview. We're going back and forth because you're like, I'm doing, you're doing things for the community and running like mentor programs. So I was like, no worries, you can cancel, you can switch it up because I like hearing that. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do with that and those kind of programs?
Yes, so it is a very near and dear to my heart, especially like being a mom growing up in 3rd Ward, Houston, Texas, like just giving back to the community in any way that I can. COVID kind of put a halt to it when we first wanted to roll it out through CNK in about like 2019, 2020. But what we're doing is we finally came in alignment with a great foundation organization in the south side of Houston called Agape Development. So they pour into underserved communities on the south side. And they do have like an after school kind of program. So we linked up with them. They're very faith-based, much like us. Some of our core values are rooted in faith. And so when we linked up with them, our goal was to provide these like immersive workshops, experiences for Black and brown girls. So especially like the Gen Z age, so middle school, high school, before you even get to college. So we wanted to make sure we were teaching different topics that are relatable to them, social media, relationships, just like owning your impact, because essentially that's what we were doing, but we wanted to teach it in a cool way. So using women that were in our sneaker network and like sponsorships from relationships that we've cultivated in the space. Our actual first class is next week at Be Social. So it's at Social Status's kind of classroom area workspace. And it's on creative activism for February. So it's going to be like a really fun time. Same girls, a small cohort of girls, because we're testing it out this year. So
I like to hear it. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. And I love it. I love it. Yeah. Keep it up. Now, with that being said, you advocate, support the youth, but you also advocate and support the SneakHER, HER.
Yes.
Culture. Now, Tell us a little bit about CNK Daily, how that came about, and your goals in that page and that platform.
Yeah, so CNK Daily, I found it just on the everyday social media scroll in 2017. So I was going through some personal challenges and just trying to like get back to writing, get, back to blogging. I was kind of late in the game with that. But sneakers always were in the mix. Like, I had my son really, really early at 18. His name is Jordan for a reason.
Oh.
So sneakers were always like kind of a feeling of, a badge of confidence, or where I didn't have to talk that much. I was pretty introverted, like as a child. So I just like to be to myself and observe. And my shoes kind of did the talking for me. I didn't have to do too much of that. During 2017, having a hard time just scrolling around, and I saw CNK and I was like, this platform, like this resonates with me, like the everyday woman in sneakers, like this is dope. I haven't seen this too much on the internet, the way that I would like to see it. So being me, I reached out to them directly and was like, I could add some value to your platform. Like I pitched myself.
Yes.
And then the rest was kind of like herstory, if you will. So jumped on board with them and just have been rocking ever since.
Yeah, and you know what? I love the page, the content that you put out. It's just attracting, and I'm like, okay, what's next? What's next? So I love to see it. And you also have I don't know if it's on your page or on the CNK Daily, and also the TradeBlock. You do like a kick assembly.
Oh yeah, so sneaker assembly.
Oh, sneakers.
So it's kind of like our IG live, area or vehicle of CNK Daily, where we do interviews much like this and just kind of talk to cool people in the space, different topics. We recently had one this week with TradeBlock to kind of jump on and talk about challenges with accessibility that everybody has, and just how sneaker tech can create community while providing solutions for those accessibility issues. I'm an active trader on TradeBlock, so I don't only work for them, but I use the platform, and it just gets back to the thrill of the chase and kind of being connected to a lot more collectors, if you will.
Would you say the app, I guess it's kind of like a safe way to trade?
Yes, all shoes go to our authentication center. They're verified. We run them through a 2-part authentication that includes quality control, making sure that the accessories are there. You can trade new and used shoes. So within your closet, you can notate if something is missing, maybe an accessory or whatnot. So it does give transparency to the product or to the transaction, but then also, everything's verified, and you can get creative. You can add money to a trade, or you can, if you want to pay the shipping for that person, so there's a lot of ways to negotiate, but still have fun.
Oh, I like it. And I've never done like trading or anything. So is it also a platform where I can like trade confidently? Like, I don't want to, what if I'm giving away or trading a shoe that someone's like, oh, I don't know, jip her or whatever.
Yes, no, that's a great question. You can trade confidently because we provide a resource that gives you a range of the market value of the shoe. Okay. So you kind of know, like, if I have this a ma maniere in my closet, I know it's, this range of price per se. So it gives you a market value so you know what you're trading for. And then we've also implemented a threshold where you can't go way far off the percentage, so it's somewhat of a balanced trade as much as possible, because you will get crazy offers if you don't have those guardrails around.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Nice to know. Yeah. So everyone check it out. TradeBlock.
Yes, TradeBlock.
All right. Okay. So tell me, when did the love for kicks start for you?
So as a child, like, I'm an 80s baby, I'm way older. So I grew up with like the golden era of the 90s, I like to say, where I knew what was going on. Like I wasn't a baby in the 90s. So I really gravitated first to like that emo alternative phase. I feel like everyone has that phase, but I love like 90s Nirvana, Green Day, like all of those bands. And that was in middle school. So with that, I hung around a lot of skateboarders. That's where my love of art and street art and graffiti came from. I can't skateboard, but I wish I could. So I hung out with all of them, and shoes were in the mix, but it was just like, it's kind of cool because they're cool. And then as my music taste changed to more like rap, R&B, that's when I was like, oh, sneakers are really cool. So I would say high school, end of 8th grade going into high school was where I was like, oh, Jordans are the thing. They reign supreme, especially growing up in Third Ward. So started listening to DJ Screw really early in the 90s. Rest in peace, Screw. And then it was just part of the neighborhood. It was just a lifestyle. So it was never for me seen as a trend. And I think that's why I'm so connected to it.
Yeah. Is there a model of Jordan or a specific one that helped change the game too?
I really liked all of them. Like, there wasn't like specific, obviously a one is just classic. I mean, it's gotten a lot of love over the last, years or so, more so mainstream, I think, than it was before. But I mean, an 11 was probably like, cause that was like the dress up Jordan, you know? So, I think it made a really big impact during those years, like wear it to prom, wear it to dances, like try to get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now the layout behind you, is this like a sneaker room?
Yes. So it's my office because TradeBlock, like we can work remote. So it's kind of like my creative space. So I'll take y'all a little tour. So there's like shoes everywhere, obviously.
Yeah.
And then there's art, you know, there's more art over there. There's more shoes. I'm like sitting at a desk.
Yeah.
And then behind me is like a couch, like, or in front of me is a couch and then like a wall of art. So kind of like a gallery look, I guess. I try to put like old magazines up and a lot of art from people that are local. So there's like pictures of like slabs, candy paint, you know, cars, grill. Paul Wall's grill is on here. There's a lot of Vashti with when she was smiling with her grill. A lot of art and stuff that like local Houston artists have done just to keep it real inspired, creative.
Yeah, always motivated. You just look up when you're feeling down a little bit, look up and just see all that's there and it'll help you get creative, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I like it. So how many pairs do you have?
Right now it's like, I would say it's probably about quality versus quantity for me. So maybe like 100, like not.
That's a lot.
Oh, that okay. I was gonna say that's super crazy. You know, because I'm trying to like purge more and just be really intentional about what I'm buying. A lot of it is going back to get things that I'm trying to get. So the SneakHER app has not been friendly with me at all. So I'm just like, yeah, let me just find what I can find, you know.
Yeah, that's a lot. 100 is a lot to me.
It's a little yeah. It's been some years, so.
Okay, so as a female in the sneaker culture, what is your take on the representation of us?
So I think there's always work to do. The positives, because I do want to lead with like the positives that I see. I love that there's so much attention being put on women, good attention. And because they really don't have a choice at this point, you know, like we're collectively loud, which is a good thing. And I think that brands are starting to be like, hey, well, number one, we have to take notice, but there's so many dope ass women like all through the space. So I love that there's a lot more connections. I love that we have the platform to also connect people, leadership that's rooted in service for us. So if we have the ability to lead anything, we want to connect people. We want to empower women. There's so many creatives that don't have 5 million followers or that don't have thousands and thousands of followers that are doing big things in all different lanes that can be connected to sneakers and streetwear. So I love that women are being put in positions to be successful because I mean, we should be. There's no reason why we shouldn't be. So, but there's a lot of work to be done. I mean, you know, we got to get rid of gatekeeping and we got to get rid of some of those things. But I think for me, I feel like I'm in a cool place because I come from like an older side of sneakers. I'm almost 40. So like just taking that side of it and being able to bridge it, like remembering all the nostalgia, remembering the stories, like watching Jordan play and bridging some of that experience in with the new age, like trailblazers that are so free and so creative. Like you can bridge those two worlds together and really make it pop. So I think that that's kind of a cool thing about being in the middle.
What is your definition of a sneakerhead, if you use that term? Sneakerhead, sneaker lover?
Yeah, I like sneakers. That's how I say it. I'm just like, I love sneakers. I think it's just someone who shows up as their, like, if I was to put like a definition to it from my experience or my vantage point, I would say It's someone who shows up very authentically, like in their way, their own way of creative expression. Authenticity is number one. Like you can't have connections, you can't have culture, you can't have any of those things without being true to yourself, like being authentic. So I think it's someone who loves sneakers. There's a common bond there that kind of like weaves in and out the DNA, but it's someone who shows up, you know, as themselves and just happen to love sneakers. Like rock what you like. I try to say that often because there's a lot of pressure, you know, on social media.
Yes. Now, before we get into the kicking it question, do you have any encouraging words for maybe younger girls that may be looking up to you?
Yes. Oh, I just love young ladies so much. Like the kids, I would say like you don't have to know everything. Like you don't have to feel pressured to buy everything, know everything. Like, and also the main thing that I like to tell, you know, my girls in the mentor program is like your superpower is already there. Like you don't have to seek it out through different things. You can cultivate it, like you can master it, but it's already intrinsically like inside you. Like you just have to maybe uncover it a little bit, but don't think that you're less than because you dress a certain way or because you can't buy certain things or because you're not like outwardly talented, because some people feel like they need to like be able to like be an artist, like a tangible thing or sing or dance or, but I mean, just if you're able to connect to people, that's a talent, like that's a superpower, like use that and just be yourself. You know, it'll come around and it'll work out perfectly fine.
Yes, that was nice. You know what? I could talk to you all day because you're very motivating and empowering. Like, you know, I'm just down.
Yeah, I'm just winging me. Like I'm just no notes, just winging it.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so let's start kicking it. The three questions that I ask everybody that comes on the show.
I'm ready.
What are your top 3 / go-to pairs? And if you have them, we want to see them.
Top 3 pairs. Well, one of them I don't have because I sold it way when I was younger. So I'm trying, that's one of the ones I'm trying to like get back to. So Chicago one, I don't care if it's used at this point. I would say right now, like my tastes tend to change, you know, like depending on where I am in my life. So my go-to one is these. So the SneakHER New Balances, water be the guide. I'm a Pisces, so I love water. And I just love, well, I love that they collaborated with SneakHER, but like the materials, the details on the shoe. I'm a sucker for like storytelling still in a shoe. Like it can look fly, but if it has a story that connects, like chef's kiss, right? So I love the colors, you know, the teal. It's a very bold, even down to the materials, just a very bold shoe. So I don't have to style too much because I'm not like the style girl. So I'm just like, oh, I'll throw on some black and like maybe a pop of color, like a neon beanie or something. So the Ama Maniere, obviously, this is just, we work with the Whitaker group quite often, and their storytelling is so intentional. Like the design around it is just so intentional. So quality, very premium, pebbled leather, suede accents, like very vintage kind of feel. I love that, but more so the storytelling behind it, you know, like the strength and resilience and motherhood. I instantly was like, oh, this is so beautiful. Like I'm crying at this campaign right now. So I had to get that one for sure. So those are probably like the 3 right now that I like the most. I like all of my shoes, but that's, if I had to choose 3, that would probably be them.
Yeah, those like the top 3 that come up to in your mind.
Yeah, like first.
Yes. Okay, so are there any past releases that you wish you copped?
All of them. Like, so I took all the L's in 2020. I didn't get any shoes off SneakHER's app, none. So that was sad, but I was able to trade and get these from TradeBlock. I had to, you know, plug in the squad, the home team. But you get like a little card that says like your new kicks are here. They've been authenticated. You kind of get this trading card feel. And so I traded some sneakers that I had never worn. And I was like, okay, they were dead stock just sitting there. And I was able to get these that I really wanted. So definitely patent breads, like really, really wanted these and finally got a trade going. The Joe Fresh Goods New Balance, like I'm still gonna go back and get that one eventually. The prices aren't too bad. I mean, they're not what I would want to pay, but they're not too bad. That one, I would say my grail that I'm trying to go back and get outside of like a Chicago one is the Aleli May 1 Shadow. Like I would trade anything for that shoe. Like I would trade an Off-White 4 for that shoe, honestly. So anybody who wants to trade, I'm 7.5.
Anybody watching? Yeah. Okay.
8, 6.5, you know, those are probably the ones that come to the top of mind that I missed out on. I have to go back and get eventually.
Yes. We'll be watching on your page to see if you get them.
Yeah, I'll be posting if I do.
Okay, so are there any upcoming releases that you plan on going for?
Ooh, yes. There's 2 that like sparked my interest right away. The Lisa Leslie Dunk. So whenever that happens, if that happens in the summertime, around the time of her anniversary of like her dunk in the first ever like dunk in the WNBA. So I think that that's just kind of like a piece of history type of shoe that I would want. So that, and dunks are hot anyway. So I would want that one, but I'm also going to go for the Union 2 because I saw them in person at an event recently. And I was like, oh my God, these are so good. These are so good. I have to get those.
Yes. Okay, I see that kicks that have a story behind it. That's definitely you. That's your thing.
Yeah, that's my thing.
I like it. Okay, so you answered the kicking it questions. Now we have Soul Patrol. Ooh. So these are questions that may talk about kicks, or they may just talk about life. Just some silly would you rather questions and get to know you a little bit better. All right.
Oh, I dig it. Okay.
Would you rather have skin like sandpaper or skin like jelly?
Skin like sandpaper or skin like jelly? I guess skin like jelly, because it's sweet and it's probably nicer to touch than sandpaper. Yeah. I don't like sandpaper or sand really. So
it's rough.
Yeah. And it's just not a good feeling. Jelly's all right. You know? Yeah,
it's all right. See, that was one. Should we do another one?
Yeah, that was an interesting question. I had to think about it.
Yeah, they're kind of weird. They make you really, really, really think. Okay, we'll do one more. Would you rather know the date of your death or the cause of your death?
Ooh, dang, I don't know what's worse.
A hard one.
I'm very like spiritual and into mindfulness and energy and things like that. So I would probably say the date, to be honest, because the date supersedes anything. Like if you know the date, like you know the date. It doesn't matter. It's going to happen that day. Like if I knew the cause, like for example, like if it was a car accident, I would be paranoid forever in the car.
True.
I feel like there would be more like triggers to my mental, like where it's like you're outside and someone's shooting and it's just random. I'm always thinking like worst case death scenarios or airplane. Okay, I'm never gonna get on a plane. Like I'll be too paranoid. So I would say just the date. Just tell me when I'm supposed to go.
Yeah. Just so you can like live your like I'm dying in like 6 months. I'm gonna live my life till then.
Yeah, I'm gonna go hard for 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. I like that. Okay, so we enter the solar troll. Now, before we log off, is there anything that you want the viewers to know that's coming up for you?
I mean, definitely stay tuned to like our community initiatives. You know, check out TradeBlock, check out CNK. We're Our goal is to tell a lot of stories and just really amplify the voices of women in our space that are maybe like unsung heroes that you don't know about. So just stay connected to us, even outside of the shoes, you know, because we want to know your story. Your story may be something that we want to talk about, or any way that we can support your business. You know, we write about small businesses that we're shopping, things like that. So I'm definitely an advocate of supporting people, even if it's a like, share, comment, whatever you need, like, let us know. Like the same way I reached out to CNK to be like, how can I support and add value? Like we want to do the same for everybody else, especially women, you know, because that's kind of the voice that we cater to. So yeah, and I love to know how I can support you and like what you're doing, like specifically. So yeah, that's all I would say. Just check out, especially the mentor program, like check those articles out. We want to expand eventually to where it can be something that's in other cities outside of Houston.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Women supporting women.
Yes, that's what it's about. Community over competition.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you so much. And I guess I will kick it with you another time.
Yes, thank you.